Good morning, guys. Welcome to our Punchestown Festival preview. We are joined here by multiple champion jockey, many wins at the Punchestown Festival. Ruby Walsh. Ruby, how are you doing?
I'm good, Bash, yourself.
Yeah, very well, very well. Thank you, Ruby. Just a bit of housekeeping. We are filming this Monday morning at 10 o'clock, so we only know decks for the Tuesday day number one. But before we get into it, Ruby, we're going to have to talk about certain Willie Mullins, British champion trainer, some achievement. Hey,
Yeah, huge achievement. And to think that I suppose basically Bash he did it in 6 weeks, but
yeah,
yeah,
true.
it is an incredible achievement. But it's I don't know. I doubt it's something that Willie set out to do when he started
Sure.
as a trainer. But as obviously as he's grown and the more success he's had, it is something that probably came on the radar a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Um, one failed attempt, as he says, you must lose a cup final in order to win another. And yeah, he definitely delivered this year. It was brilliant, and it was, I think, a hell of an achievement. And yeah, I just thought it was great. And it's coming to the end of the season, and he still has plenty of horses left to have a go at Punchestown. But
Yeah.
even looking at day one, Bash, it could be Henry de Bromhead's day on Tuesday. But look, there's loads of side shows. Obviously, Willie is well clear of Gordon to win an Irish championship, but Jack Kennedy's a couple ahead of Paul Townend, so that'll make it interesting for the week in Punchestown. But yeah, I do think that last Saturday was a special day for Willie Mullins and for everyone in Close. It's a big achievement
Yeah.
to be champion trainer in two countries.
Oh, for sure. You hear some people say, "Oh, it's ruining the game." I think we're very lucky to have probably the best we will ever see. But anyway, let's crack on with the week. So Tuesday, day one, we've got three grade ones, and we'll kick off the 340, the champion novice hurdle, 2 mile. Looks like Supreme round two. And does the sort of finishing places remain like that with Slade still beating Mystical Power here, Ruby?
Yeah, you'd have to think so. And I look, obviously, Mystical Power has been to Liverpool since to have a go at the Grade One there in the Trusted Trader Top Novices Hurdle, where Mystical Power got into a fair old ding dong with Firefox and just came out on top. That franked the Cheltenham form, where Slade Steele beat them both when they were second and third. You also have the fourth horse Asian Master in again, and obviously Tully Hill, who was ultimately very disappointing in the Supreme. So yeah, you have those five, then you fire in Inlet Atlantique dropping down and trip, you throw in King of Kingsfield and fun. And you have, eight really good horses, fun. Whereas a Hood for the first time, she was too keen over 2.5 at Fairyhouse when Jade de Grugy beat her. But this is a really good renewal, Bash. It all points to Slade Steele, but
Yeah.
it's just not. Sometimes Cheltenham form doesn't back up in Punchestown, and which one do you go to oppose him with? And a lot to me will depend on the weather. I do think if look, there's between 10 and 30 mil of rain forecast between the time we record and the time these horses will go to post. If it's on the lower side of that, I could give Tully Hill a chance. I'd forgive him. He's running Cheltenham. If we get all the rain, I wouldn't. So I would definitely be seeing what the conditions are like after the 305 in Punchestown tomorrow, which is the full circle series final handicap hurdle. You get an idea of the ground at 3:05, and you can decide what you want to back at 340. But look, if it is slow, you'd have to be with Slade Steele. I do think Mystical Power is taking his racing really well, and
Mm.
he looks, if anything, even better again at home. But he's been to Cheltenham and Aintree, hard to back it up at Punchestown. But Tully Hill, if the ground was on the drier side, might be of interest.
Sure. I mean, that was going to be a point I was going to bring up about Mystical Power. Obviously, it made no difference in Perry Pass. One at Aintree and then backed it up the other day. Would you be worried about Mystical Power having those two races in quick
Yeah,
succession?
Imperial Pass though had missed Cheltenham, so
Of course.
it's two runs, whereas now Mystical Power is looking at having his third. So is Firefox. They're both trying to do all three, and I guess at this time of year, yes, some horses can take the race and bash. They've had a whole season of training, they're battle hardened, and some can, not all. I wish they could tell us how they were feeling, and we'd know which ones can and which ones can't, but unfortunately they don't. But look, the same goes for Reed Atlantique. He's been to all three. King of Kingsfield hasn't run since he was disappointing in the county hurdle, but it was a really slowly run county hurdle that probably didn't suit him. And the other one could be Asian Master, who was fourth at Cheltenham,
Yeah.
not beaten very far. He's sure to improve for that run. Tom Costello rides him again, and I wouldn't be surprised if he outran his odds too.
Perfect. We will move on just very briefly. The 4:15, the Killashee Hotel listed handicap hurdle over 2 miles. Willie Mullins got the top three in the market. We've got Daddy Longlegs, the pick of Punchestown and Rath, Galboy, and Bialystock. Which one would you be fancying here, Ruby?
I think all three, Bash, are pretty much dependent on the weather. Maybe not
Okay.
so much Rackall Boy, who did win on heavy ground at Fairyhouse, but definitely Daddy Longlegs
Yeah.
uh, Biley Stock definitely have improved with drier conditions. So neither
Okay.
of them would want too much rain. I thought another interesting one a bit further down was Gavin Cromwell's runner Toto 2, who won
Hmm.
at Naas in April when he beat Dark Note. I think he's a fairish horse, Toto 2, and Gavin Cromwell's horses are absolutely flying. I mean, the winners he's been having in the last week, he's had 7 or 8 winners in the last fortnight. So his horses are absolutely flying. And Toto 2 did catch my eye in that one. Again, if it was dry overnight, it does give Daddy Longlegs a really good chance. But
Yeah.
with the rain forecast, you'd have to be slightly cautious.
Perfect. Talking about being slightly cautious, the 450, the Goffs Defender bumper, a lot of unraced horses here. Is there anything you can sort of nod your cap to that's going well at Clas Sutton?
I suppose what's the one part? King Roscoe Gray. He definitely had the biggest reputation. He's by Galloway, and he did cost a pretty penny at the sales. And it
Yeah.
probably shows a little bit more than Jean Zach and Hefe. But I would think all of these first timers are going to have to go a bit to beat um, Sir Manzarac,
Yeah.
who got the race in Punchestown because the winner, Noah Meads, called Cannon, weighed in light, but he has a run under his belt and he did show a bit of promise on that occasion. He was a well backed favourite and he's sure to improve for the run. He's the best of the ones with form, but King Rascal Grey, he does go nicely at home. It's just hard to know with these horses, Bash. And to
Sure.
be honest with you, it's not a race. It's not a race I will be definitely putting my hand in my pocket for. Absolutely no way.
No, that's fine. We'll sip a pint of the black stuff and enjoy that one, I think.
I think that's the
One,
best bit of advice you could give someone.
there you go, there you go. In the 525, we've obviously got the William Hill Champion Chase. We've obviously got the Cheltenham Champion Chase winner. We've got the Mayor's Chase second, possibly Banbridge as well. How do you see this one playing out?
Well, I think a lot depends on the ground again, Bash.
Yeah,
Obviously, Banbridge wears first time cheek pieces, but any rain is going to hinder his chance. I think rain probably hinders Gentleman Demi's chance as well. Again, if we had a dry night, dry morning, look, what rain is forecast and what rain falls will be two different things.
sure.
And I think if we're on good to yielding or yielding ground, you could definitely fancy Gentleman to Me and Banbridge. They both seem to be better horses on a drier surface, whereas Dino Blue and Captain Guinness have both shown that they handle soft ground. So, look, Captain Guinness obviously had a heart defect or a heart issue at
Yeah.
Leopardstown at Christmas when he pulled up behind Dino Blue. That wasn't his true running. He
Yeah.
ran better behind El Fabiolo at the Dublin Racing Festival, and then obviously was very good in the Champion Chase when he beat Gentleman to Me. Now that race did fall apart, but I mean this Champion Chase at Punchestown is quite similar to how that race at Cheltenham ended up.
Yeah.
He sets a good standard. Captain Blue, Dino, or Captain Guinness even. Dino Blue has done nothing wrong all year. Probably just got outstayed by Limerick Lace, who ran quite well in the Grand National after. So she did, and she is the holding of Captain Guinness on their Dublin Racing Festival runs. But I just think there's a day in Gentleman to Me every year. It was a Dublin Racing Festival last year. It was
Yeah.
here the year before that, and I just think if the clouds don't open, I think at the prices I'd be siding with him. Gentleman to Me for me, in the hope that it doesn't rain. If it does rain, I'd be with Dano Blue, but if it's dry, Gentleman to Me.
Okie dokie. There we go. People be on weather watch, I think, Ruby. And the last race we'll look on day one is the 6 o'clock Champion Novice Chase, a 3 mile. We've got Monty Star, second to potential Gold Cup horse, Factor File. You've got recent winner Spillane's Tower, Embassy Gardens dropping back and trip. How has Embassy Gardens come out of Cheltenham?
He seems to have come out of it well. He was really disappointed. Now, it was quite a slowly run race. He jumped really poorly for a horse who had jumped so well in his 2 starts here. Jumped
Yeah.
really well at Punchestown and again at Navan, but he never got into any kind of a rhythm at Cheltenham. I imagine he was dropped in the National Hunt Chase. I imagine he'll be ridden much differently than he was that day. He raced handy and wide at Naas when he won, and at Punchestown when he won his beginner's chase the 12th of December. He was pretty much up there all the way. So I imagine Paul Townend will ride him that way. That probably will help Monty Star too. I
Mhm.
think whilst they went a decent gallop early in the Brown advisory, it did slow down in the middle part of the race and stay away with Faye wasn't going. Nobody else wanted to make the running, and Brown advisory wasn't strongly run. So I think a stronger gallop will also suit Monty Star, but I have a soft spot for Spillane Tower. He beat Blood Destiny at Punchestown in January. He was then second to Blood Destiny at Navan in March over 2 miles and stepped up to Grade 1 company at Ferryhouse when he won the Willow Warm Gold Cup. I
Mhm.
think he's a horse who can improve going up in trip again. And I think Jimmy Mangan could be about to get between Henry de Bromhead and Willie Mullins on Tuesday afternoon. And I would think that Spillane's Tower is the percentage call for me.
Interesting one. Interesting one. Monty Star was my bet of the day, so I will probably go back to
And
the drawing board on that one.
I do think Sendor Clegan and maybe Emma Sigard, if they go a stronger gallop at the front, it will
Yeah.
suit Monty Star. Maybe even Rachel Blackmore make more use of Monty Star,
Mhm.
but I do think he needs a stronger gallop in a slowly run race at Cheltenham. I don't think he'd have won either way, but it definitely didn't bring
Yeah.
about. It didn't bring out his strengths anyway.
Okay, perfect. We will move on to day number 2. And the first race we're going to look at is the 4:15, the Channel Real Estate Grade 1, hurdle over 3 miles. And this could be a cracker. Obviously, we don't know declarations at this point, but you could have Martin Pike winner Better Days Ahead, the Aintree winner Dancing City, Albert Bartlett winner Stellar Story. Obviously, Cater Bourbon won recently, could show up here. Do you know which ones Willie's going to be sending, do you think?
I didn't look at the final decks this morning, but they were made 15 minutes ago now, and I didn't. I wasn't sure the plan. I know Dancing City was definitely going to come here. So too Key to Bourbon and High Class Hero, Lecky Watson. Willie was planning on running the four of them. I think Loughlin was maybe going to be left out. An Olympic Man was going for a winner's race, but I think the plan was to go with the other four, Bash.
Yeah.
I thought Dancing City was tough at entry.
Yeah.
Um, Again, I think the Albert Bartlett was quite steadily run and it suited horses that were close to the pace. Sam Ewing just about had just about had Stellar Story close enough to
Yeah.
nab the Jukebox Man even. And I think this will be a really good race. And I think this will be a big one for that Jockeys Championship.
Mm.
If Jack Kennedy can get Better Days Ahead or Stellar Story home in front here,
Well,
be a big gun of Paul Townends he'd be after taking down. So it was a really good race. I mean, I thought Better Days Ahead was good in the Martin Pipe. Key to Bourbon ran a blinder in that and
yeah.
then went to Air and won. High Class Hero, for whatever reason, just disappointed. And Lecky Watson has been solid all season. Staffordshire Not chased home Brighter Days Ahead, not Better Days Ahead, at Liverpool. So I think this is a really deep novice hurdle. And it's probably the one it's the race at the no, it's not. It's the novice chase that Willie has a poor record in. He's a good record in this novice hurdle, but I don't know. I just think that they've always held Better Days Ahead in really high regard.
Yeah.
I know he got beaten over 2 miles by Asian Master, but Asian Master ran really well in the Supreme, so I won't be too worried about that. And his run at Cheltenham was pretty solid, and
Mm.
he's probably the one they have to beat.
Yeah, that's going to be. I honestly cannot wait for it. I love Cater Bourbon. Has he come out of his race at Air quite
Yeah, he
well?
did. Yeah, not a bother on him. That was a pretty straightforward task for him.
Yeah,
And I think he did. Paul was easy on him. He won as he liked, and a bit like Daddy Longlegs and Rackall Boy, they didn't have hard races last week in the
sure.
UK. Any of the three of those.
That's it. Come over to the UK, have a nice little cant around and pick up some decent prize money. But we move on to the 450, the Champion National Hunt flat race. Again, this could be an absolute blinder. Lots of obviously Cheltenham champion bumper form with the winner Jasmine DeVoe, the second Romeo Coolio, got the unbeaten Barry Connell trained William Money. And I can't believe every time I check a bumper, Redemption Day is still running in these bumpers. I think first running bumper December 2021. I think I'm going mad, but you know, how do you see this one? Do you think Jasmine DeVoe confirms the form with Romeo Coolio?
I do. I do. I think he's in good form since Cheltenham, Jasmine DeVoe. Obviously, Barry Connell holds William Money in high regard. He
Yeah.
beat Fleur in the Park at Naas, and Barry was, very complimentary of William Money. And he did do well on that occasion. He's coming here. He didn't go to Cheltenham. You've Romeo Coolio, Harbour Highway in JP McManus's colours now. He won at Naas. Went on by Paul Byrne and beat my way of thinking of Gavin Cromwell's, who was well fancied. Culpeck the board won well at Fairyhouse. Don't think he was going to run. I think Culpeck the board was being given a chance. Redemption Day, and I think Port Julian could be going to the winners bumper on Thursday. I think
Okay.
Sounds Victorious might line up here. He was fourth at Cheltenham as well. So look, plenty of depth to it. But I would think Jasmine DeVoe has come out of Cheltenham well, and I think he'll uphold the form with Romeo Coolio and be too good for William Money.
Okie dokie. Okay, well, on that, we will move to the big race of the day, the Ladbrokes Punchestown Gold Cup, and we see the rematch Galopin Des Champs versus Fast or Slow. Now, Ruby, I'm really interested to hear your thoughts on this because obviously I was there at Cheltenham and it looked straightforward to me on Galopin Des Champs. He just looked the best horse. He won, but then I listened to a interview afterwards, and Paul Townend said the petrol gauge was properly empty, and he had to go for reserves that only a good horse has. How's he come out of that race?
I think he's come out of it well, Bash. I ride him occasionally, and I rode him early last week. I thought he was in really good order. He's fresh, he's well, he looks really well. Um, Paul seems to think that he's probably a bit fresher and a bit stronger than he was this time last year. He's an
Okay.
8-year-old now. He didn't back up after last year's Gold Cup as a 7-year-old, but you'd be hoping as an 8-year-old he can. But look, I went here last year thinking, wow, Galloping the Champ versus Brave Man's Game, and you then by
Yeah.
Alan chucked in, and Faster Slow came and overran them all and proved that it wasn't a fluke when he won the John Durkin. He gave Galloping the Champ a race at Leopardstown in the Irish Gold Cup in February, and he's back again. Look, he unseated at the 16th in the Gold Cup. He was travelling well at the time. It was really unlucky. He just nodded and got rid of JJ Slevin. So, look, he's traditionally a very good jumper as well, Fast or Slow. So, I don't see this as a foregone conclusion. I think it'll be a really good race, but
Yeah.
I just think that Paul Willie. I don't think they could be any happier with Galloping the Champ. So,
Yeah.
I hope they're right. But Fast or Slow will be a formidable opponent, and it'll be a cracking race. You can chuck in a couple of more. Then I thought Conflated had been running well all year in Leopardstown. He ran well behind Protectorat, and I thought he ran really well behind John Bon at Aintree. And I mean, John Bon has franked that form too. I did think it was interesting that Lucinda Russell left Corrick Rambler in at the 5-day stage. So,
Mhm.
we'll know in a few minutes, Bash, before we're finished whether he's declared or not. But again, he would be of interest here. You Hewitt and a few more. But look, I'm with Gallop in the Champ, but I don't see this foregone conclusion. And I think
Yeah.
Fast or Slow will make it a really good race.
Oh, let's hope so. Fingers crossed for an absolute cracker. But let's move on to day number 3, Thursday. We've got 2 grade ones to look through. The first one is the 525, the Castle Novice Chase over 2 mile. We've got obviously emphatic Arkle winner. Gaelic Warrior looks like he might turn up here. If so, if he behaves himself, it should be a penalty kick. Penalty kick.
It should be. He should be. He looks really well. I'm sure we have a few racing breaks guests staying in Barberstown Castle this weekend. So
Yeah.
I hope that hopefully they enjoy that. It is a nice spot actually, Barberstown, beautiful spot. But Gaelic Warrior, he's been yeah, look, he had that one blip in Leopardstown when Factifile beat him and beat him comprehensively. I know you unseated at the last, but the race was over from the third
Yeah.
last fence. But outside of that, he's been really good. Punchestown when he beat Another Way You're Thinking, Limerick when he beat Elite Tomp, Punt Fair or at Cheltenham when he beat Founder 50. I mean, you look at the horses he's beaten. Founder 50 he's won a grade 1 since. Elite Tomp won a grade 1 since. I know
Yeah.
the way you're thinking, one at the top level since. So his form has been absolutely rock solid. Um, and he seems to be getting bigger and stronger all the time. So look, fingers crossed he get the job done. He's only a 6-year-old. The future looks really exciting for him. Obviously, Blood Destiny would appreciate dropping down and trip. Mr. Policeman probably running a handicap. He let the Tomp and Hercule Desai take their chance. But look, it's safe to say Willie Mullins will win this one. And it's very hard to go against the odds on shot.
There you go. I think a lot of people will be waiting on the double, the Gaelic Warrior double with Tehupu in the 6 o'clock, which is the Ladbrokes Champion Stayers Hurdle. Obviously impressive at Cheltenham. Missed Aintree, comes here. He's a better horse fresh. He'll take a lot of beating, won't he?
He will. I don't know, is he a better horse fresh or not? It was December to March when he won at Cheltenham. It's only 6 weeks from Cheltenham to here. Little over 6, 7 weeks, isn't it?
Yeah.
But Chupu, yeah, I think he was really good. And I think he has the profile to probably be the staying hurdle king for a couple of years.
Yeah.
His way of racing, he's so relaxed. His jumping style is really measured and really accurate. He has a turn of foot. We know he stays. He's very uncomplicated. And even whatever way this race turns out, however tactical it is, I just don't see that being an issue for him. I think maybe Sire de Burla, if he's declared even at 12 years of age, is probably the value each way at 10 to 1. But
Yeah.
I do think it'd be really hard to beat Tuhupu. And as you said, I think that's probably my 1 to 3 and 4 to 5 bash. I'm not much of a gambling mathematician, but that's probably still only even money, is it?
Yeah. Well, yeah, probably a shade over, but
Shade over, yeah.
if it's a winner, Ruby. That's what we're here
Yeah,
to find.
yeah, it
So let's
is.
move
It is.
on. Day number 4, the Friday. Again, we've got two grade ones we're going to look through. We've got the 6 o'clock, the Boodles Champion Hurdle. There could be people waiting on this for the treble. Add in a value. Threes on shot with State Man. Could be State Man versus Irish Point. Is there any way you can see Irish Point getting its head in front of State Man here?
No, and you could have Bob Ollinger, maybe Sir Gerhard again, who didn't look to stay behind Impere Pass at Sandown and Colonel Mustard. So it's going to be a pretty small field bash, but I don't see how Irish Point turns it with Stateman. The only way
Hmm.
you could look at it maybe is the champion hurdle was really steadily run,
Yeah.
and maybe Irish Point then make a bit more use of him trying to make his stamina count more. But I do think it'll be hard for him. And look, I think Stateman's in really good form, and I think he'll be impossible to beat. Now the decks are just flashed up here, Bash. So we have better days ahead. Dancing City, High Class Hero, Lecky Watson, and Stellar Story in that race.
Okay.
Better days ahead. No jockeys yet, but better days ahead. Look, I thought he was the one for me in the champion bumper yet. Jasmine DeVoe is there. Romeo Coolio and William Money. So the big ones we talked about are there. William Mullins is well represented too, which you all know sounds victorious. Redemption Day and My Great Mate. And the Punchestown Gold Cup, Appreciated Capadano, Conflated, Corrick Rambler runs. Lucinda
Ooh.
Russell, Derek Fox, Fast or Slow, Gallop in the Champ, Gentleman's Game, Hewick, and Journey with Me. So, yeah, really good lineup for the Punchestown Gold, Ladbrokes Punchestown Gold Cup. 9 runners, Nitre market as well. So, yeah,
Wow.
I think that's great, isn't it?
Yeah, wow. We're all in for a treat, that's for sure. So yeah, do you think Lossie Muff won't show up
No,
in
she'll run Saturday.
yeah,
But I do think that whatever way Jack Kennedy goes about it, he rode a patient race in Cheltenham and Stateman won for speed. Whether it means he'll beat him or not, he probably has to do something different. And you
no,
think that he beat Katira last year over 2.5 at Aintree in the Mersey novices hurdle. He's no doubt about Irish Point stamina. He won a 3 mile hurdle at Leopardstown of Christmas. He probably does need to make this a stronger gallop and
sure.
see if he can outstay Stateman because riding for speed, we know he's not quicker than him.
Okie dokie. So the treble has landed, and people are now waiting on the fourfold in the 6:35. The champion novices hurdle, 2 mile, 3 furlong, grade one, Ballyburn. If he shows up here again, should be straightforward, should it?
Yeah, and he looks really well. Daffy rides him every morning of the week, and he couldn't be happy with him. I watched him coming up to Gallop on Saturday before we went to Sandown, and he looks in incredible form. So yeah, he'd be hard to beat. But the opposition could be two mares, Jade de
Yeah.
Grugy and Brighter Days Ahead. And if Brighter Days Ahead takes him on, it definitely adds a new thread to it, doesn't it?
Sure. Yeah.
I thought she was really good at Aintree. Obviously, she got beaten at Cheltenham, and she was a lot of people's bankers. But the race was just a sprint. I mean, the finishing speed percentage of the Mayor's Novice Hurdle in Cheltenham was the fastest of any race at the Cheltenham Festival,
Yeah.
114%. So that just backs up that race was a sprint and didn't suit her. I thought she was very, very good at Aintree, and if she turns up here, it'll make it an interesting contest. But I wouldn't be going against Ballyburn, but I suppose the neutrals would love to see her turning up, Bash.
Yeah. No,
William
that'd be
Mullins camp.
fantastic.
I kind of don't mind if she doesn't.
But yeah, Ballyburn is just one of those horses that everyone's just excited about him. He looks like he could be an absolute world beater. Do you think this might be the last time we see him over hurdles?
I don't know. Willie was talking about maybe making a champion hurdle horse out of him,
Hmm.
and I don't know why it is, but for whatever reason, 2.5 mile novice hurdlers seem to make really good champion hurdlers. That's in
Sure.
tradition. Obviously, Constitution Hill was a 2 miler, but when you look at the likes of Faheen and
Yeah,
Annie
sure.
Power, yeah, Hurricane Fly was a 2 miler, but it can be both ways. And like this fella is a winner of a grade one over 2 miles, and he beat Slade Steele as well. He has it all.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see what Willie does. He's 6 rising 7. If he does go the champion hurdle route, it probably means you're 8 rising 9 going to a Gold Cup. So
Yeah.
it's a hard one to weigh up.
And a horse like that, would you have scored him over fences ever or
Not yet, no. He did
no?
run. Did he run the point to point? I think he did. But he did. He won a point to point
Yeah, he did win a point to
at
point.
Loch Ray, I'd say it was LGH. Loch and More. Sorry to my northern correspondence. But yeah, he no, we wouldn't have schooled him over fences, but he obviously has schooled over fences in the past, and he's a really good jumper anyway. He looks a natural, doesn't he?
He does. He does. An absolute machine. And we'll move on to the final day. We've got three grade ones to go through on the Saturday. We kick things off with the Mayor's Champion Hurdle. We're talking about machines. Lottymouth has been impeccable this season so far. Again, we keep talking about penalty kicks, but if she turns up in form, she really should win this, shouldn't she?
She should. And I'm not going to say it's the last time you see her in against Mayors because she'd probably start against Mayors next year, but um, I think it could be the last time you see her in this division all the same at
Yeah.
this time of year. Um, Look, she was very good at Cheltenham both starts this year in January and in March. She's very straightforward. She looks incredible. But she's still growing. She's still maturing.
Okay.
The frightening thing, Bash, is I think this could be a better filly next year.
Wow. I absolutely love her. I think she's one of my favorite horses in training. There for both Cheltenham wins this year. Yeah, she's just fantastic. The champion hurdle next year could be red hot, couldn't it?
It could. And look, obviously they all have to stay in one piece and stay sound. And people
Sure.
will I don't know, bemoan it a little bit, I suppose. But uh, ideally, I'd be let if you could keep them apart for a while.
Of course, yeah.
Get man, get Constitution Hill back if Ballyburn stayed hurdling and Lossiemouth. Like if they were all heading towards Cheltenham, having not trounced each other twice before they get there, I think it'd be one hell of a clash on the opening day of the Cheltenham Festival. It'd be
Absolutely.
magic. If you could get three of the four in there, it'd be brilliant.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've backed Ballyban anti-post for the novice chasers at Cheltenham, so I hope he doesn't turn up. But anyway, the 450 is the 4-year-old hurdle, the grade one, over 2 miles. There's a few which are all in the betting, but you don't know what might turn up here. Stagino, Cargis, Nürburgring, Stormheart, Bunting. Obviously, Bottler's Secret, unbeaten since his switch to Gavin
Yeah,
Cromwell.
and he's been really good, Bottler's Secret. He was good at Naas. He was very impressive at Fairyhouse when he beat Carl de Tourelle. He definitely sets the standard. Cargis was way too free at Aintree behind
Yeah,
Sergino. Sergino's priced like he's not coming, Bash. I can't imagine he'd be that 9 to 4, whatever price he is. If people
yeah,
thought he was running, he'd obviously be the favourite. So he's priced like he's not running. Nürburgring obviously was withdrawn at Cheltenham after disappointed in the Triumph. He's probably a little bit of interest. Prices are kind of skimpy though, even looking at them anti-post here for this.
mm.
And there's no doubt Bottler Secret sets the standard.
Okie dokie, okie dokie. Is there anything else? Any other horses you think are worth mentioning, or any other races to look
We've a
through?
couple in winners hurdles. Mr. Giff
Uh-huh.
hasn't managed to hit the frame in the grade one, so he qualifies for the winners hurdle on Friday, winners of one hurdle on Friday, which is just after the champion hurdle.
Yeah.
And another way who fell at the second last in Fairyhouse will qualify for a similar race on Wednesday over 2.5 miles. So they definitely would be of interest, both of them. In winners races, both the conditions of those races have been tightened up a bit to push more horses into the graded races. I don't know. I think that's actually a good thing. I think that's progress. And as for bumper horses, I'd say whichever one Patrick goes with in the winners bumper on Thursday. And it's ironic when you think the champion bumper's on Wednesday. If you look at the winners of one bumper on Thursday from last year, I think Ballyburn beat Dancing City and Slade Steel was third. It wasn't even the champion bumper, the three of them ran in. But that was one hell of a bumper. And I have a feeling Patrick will have kept what he thinks is a live one for that. Not sure as a Port Julian or Cantico, but whatever he rides in that race, I'll be siding with.
There you go. Perfect. Well, Ruby, thank you very much for your
I'll tell
insight.
you what's flying as well. I happened
Yep.
to ride him the other morning, and I never thought I would say this, but Billaway is flying. He runs in the
See.
Hunter's Chase on, I think the Hunter's Chase is Champion Hunter Chase is Friday. I don't think it's Thursday. But I did ride him the other morning, and I thought, Jesus, definitely life in this old fella here,
Wow.
and
I'd
he
love to
could be
see.
an all right price.
Yeah, that would be he'd bring the house down if he could do it, the old boy. Love Bill away. Perfect. Well, again, thank you for everyone watching. Thank you for booking with Racing Breaks. We hope you all have the most fantastic time at the Punchestown Festival. Find lots of winners. Ruby, thanks again for your time, and
Cheers, Bash.
we will see you very soon. Best of luck and have a great time, guys.